guys. Oh my gosh, what do I even look like right now? Wow, look at all my freckles. Okay, let's try to make myself look a little bit more presentable and try this Kosas wet lip oil. What do you think? Whatever. Okay, we're packing right now, as you can see, and I have been like trying to catch up on sleep. I'm so tired. This week has been so overwhelming. Like, there's just so much to do. Part of it is because we're not moving into an empty space. We're moving in with my parents, and we're moving into the basement. Actually, I'll explain that in a second. But yeah, there's just like a lot of stuff down there, and so it's not like you're just moving into a clean place. You're moving into a place where there's like a bunch of stuff, and I don't know, it just makes it extra overwhelming because I have to decide like what I want to keep, what I want to sell, how we're gonna make use of that space and make it our own and things like that. And so it's been kind of overwhelming. Anyways, okay, I don't even know where to start. I don't know, I have to decide like what I want to talk about and how much I want to share. Why is every video like this? I'm making these like on a whim because I need a video and I don't plan anything, and I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry because that's just like the reality of what I can do right now. I'm trying to sell things right now. My mom's stuff is like so specific. We've lived in that house for so long and she's just collected so many things over time, and so there's just like so much random stuff that I feel like nobody would want. And so anything that I list, I have to list it as like vintage. Like this chair, it's like vintage chair, or like this storage thing, vintage storage thing. Anyway, someone's actually interested, so that's kind of cool. Okay, but the reason that we're moving in with them is because if somebody told me that I would say yes to moving in with my parents again, I would have said, you don't know me at all. There is absolutely no way. And it's not because I don't love my parents. Obviously, I love my parents and they are wonderful. I'm not even gonna say that I love my parents because it's obvious. Like, that's not something I need to say. But you know, it's just I'm not the type of person that wants to live with my parents. I would rather have my own space. I need my own kitchen, things like that. But I think this season of life, it felt more comfy to live with them because Daniel is working part-time. It doesn't make sense for us to pay rent if we don't have to, and it felt more financially responsible to live with them. But what was nice was that we don't have to live with them. Like, if for whatever reason my mom didn't offer or we decided not to live with them, we decided that that's not what was best for our family right now, that would have been fine too. And so it feels nice that we're not living them out of like necessity, or you know, they're doing us this huge favor and it feels icky in that way. It's truly just they wanted us to live with them. They would have loved it. We accepted and we felt good about it. And it wasn't a decision made out of need. It was truly a decision made out of want and excitement. I think also we want to buy a house next year. And you know, this market is just so crazy. It's been so hard to find a house. And we actually put in a couple offers last year, but they fell through. And I'm so thankful that they fell through because Daniel got laid off shortly after, and it would have been so stressful if we owned a house. I mean, God's timing is obviously perfect all the time, but it was just such a gift that it didn't work out. So it'll be nice to save money for a year in chunks of money, not having to pay rent. And then hopefully we can buy a house next year. If not, you know, I'm not expecting anything. I just feel like the market's very unpredictable, and if we're doing fine living with my parents, then, you know, then we can stay longer too. So that's really nice. And I think I'm excited about that too, because if we find a house that needs renovations or something, then we're not in a time crunch to leave. I think another thing is that if we have another kid, you know, we're open to having a third soon. It'll be nice to have my parents there to help during first trimester, because I am just not a great first trimester pregnant person. And so we did consider that and think about that too, and how that would be a benefit. But you know, obviously we don't know what could happen. Like, we could have trouble conceiving the third time, and you just like literally never know what's going to happen with those things. So it's fine either way. It's just something that we thought of and something that we're kind of planning for. Also, I feel like my mom and I are just so different, and we have come such a long way. And I think if you, like I said, if you told me that I was going to live with my mom even like a few months ago, I would have said absolutely not. And you know, that is more just to protect our relationship and to make sure that we're good. And you know, I think if you spend time 24/7, then it just creates more things if you're not like totally on the same page all the time with certain things. But I would say we've come such a long way, and I'm really excited to live with her now. Like, I think it'll be good, and I'm sure there will be moments, you know, just like any other relationship, any other mother-daughter, any other Korean American mother-daughter, any other Korean American first gen, second gen mother-daughter relationship, but I think it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm really thankful that we'll have this special time together. After we decided to live with them completely on our own accord and in a way that felt really good to us, both of my parents had a little bit of like a health scare, and I'm not ready to talk about that yet, but I think there are just things that are still making me feel like I am craving, and I don't know what the word is, like wanting more time with them, wanting more quality time with them. And so that was really nice that not the health scare was not nice, but it was just nice that after we decided to live with them, just with our own decision, that this health scare also made me thankful that we were already going to live with them, because it made me feel like, okay, this is the right time. Like, we want to spend more time with them. And so that was really good. That was kind of like a bonus, feeling that way. So I was really thankful for that. Oh, and then logistically, I will say, as much as I said, like I'm looking forward to it and all this stuff, which I mean all of it, I will say that the layout of the house allows us to do this, because my mom renovated our house to be kind of like 2 units. So it's one big house, but the basement and the master bedroom are connected, and it's its own unit. And so the basement has its own full kitchen, its own entrance, and the master is obviously its own room, and then has its bathroom on the first floor, and obviously doors. Why am I explaining that it has doors? Whatever. The master and the basement is its own unit, and that allows me to have my own space even in the same house. I think if it was like one house and we were all living in this one house together, I don't think I could do that. I don't think we're there yet. I don't know if we'll ever be there. Actually, I think I could see us getting there someday, but we're not there yet. But because it's 2 separate units in the same house, that feels like there's enough distance, but also we're in the same house and we're living together, and it feels good. Like, that feels good. So yeah, that's kind of the situation with the logistics of it. And honestly, I'm curious how it'll be. Like, I don't know how often we'll see them. I'm sure we'll still see them every day, but I don't know like how often every day. And even with like the entrance of the house, like, do we want to go in through our own entrance, or do we want to go in through the main house and then go downstairs? Like, I don't know. So I think those are things we'll have to figure out. That's kind of something that I think is a really nice benefit. And I don't know, it feels like a good amount of separation, but also togetherness. I think as I'm getting older, I'm just realizing that my time with my parents is getting very limited very quickly. It's not something that we think about, because I'm in my 30s and I don't feel, obviously I feel like I'm getting older, but I'm not getting that much older that I have to worry about my parents not being with us for much longer. Like, you feel like they're gonna live forever. And maybe I'm the only one who thinks that. And obviously I don't think they're actually gonna live forever, but I just feel like we have a lot of time with them, but we really don't. And I think that's something that I really got a rude awakening on this year. And it's just, I don't know, as much as our parents are not people that we feel like we have to take care of, or sometimes they're kind of annoying. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. I love you, Amanapa, but sometimes it's kind of annoying. They treat us sometimes like we're still kids, and we don't like that. And maybe I should just stop saying we and just say I. I don't like that, because I want to be treated like an adult. But I think, my mom and my dad still see me as their little girl, which I kind of get now that I have my own kids. But I mean, my kids are like actually little kids, so like, I don't know, ask me in 30 years if I see them as little boys, but whatever. I think, there are just moments that you're like, dude, let me live my life, like, let's keep it separate. Let's keep our boundaries and things. And I think that's important. But at the same time, I think it's important to realize that we don't have a lot of time with them. And I don't know, it just makes me sad. I think now that I do have kids, it makes me sad that they won't have as much time with them. And my firstborn loves my dad so much. Like, I think after me, he might be his second favorite person. Sorry, Daniel. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but there was definitely a season where we felt like that was true, that it was me and then my dad and then Daniel. And so I just think like, it's going to be sad when they eventually pass, and my kids are going to struggle with it too. Like, it's not just going to be my brother and I struggling with it. It'll also be my kids, because they're lucky that their grandparents live here and they spend so much time with them. I didn't really have that growing up because my grandparents lived in Korea. So I think it's just one of those things that makes me think I want to be nicer to my parents. I want to have more patience. I want to really take to heart the things they say, not because I agree with all of it or because I need like advice that I didn't ask for, but because they love me and because we don't have as much time with them and because they've done so much for me. And it's just sad that, I don't know, I just feel like parental-child relationships are so complicated and so deep. And I know not everybody has a positive relationship with their parents. And if that's you, I'm really sorry. I know that's hard. But yeah, parents aren't going to be around forever and we should be nice to them. I feel like I was like almost on the verge of tears throughout this entire video thinking about my parents, but I think when my parents had the health scare, I was really thinking about like our time is so limited and it's so like sad. Like every moment is just sad because it's like one of the last few times we'll have together, but I'm gonna try not to think of it that way. I'm gonna try to think of it as like precious time that we have together and how can we maximize memories and quality time and all of that. I'm looking forward to it. God has truly been so gracious and faithful in every season of, well, every season of my life, but definitely every season of my and Daniel's life. We've been married for 3 years and we've moved once a year. And every year that we live somewhere new, there's a specific theme to that season and such precious memories in that house. And I think this upcoming one will be very, very precious too. And it'll also be very interesting. I think it'll be interesting. I know there will be pros and cons, but I very much believe that it'll be good and it'll be like such a special time that we'll be so thankful for once we eventually move out. So I will say one of the most exciting things about it, other than like being able to save so much money, is the house sitting. Oh my gosh. Now that we have people living in the house who are just home, once the kids go down, Daniel and I can go out anytime. That is so exciting to me. Like, I can't imagine like all the date nights we're gonna have. We're gonna go to the movies. Like, we haven't gone to the movies in so long because it just feels like such a waste to go to the movies when you have a house sitter. And, you know, I never wanted to come home that late for the house sitter and stuff. But now that it doesn't matter, we can go to the movies, we can go out to dinner, we can go to the city. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. That is probably the most exciting thing, like maybe even more than the financial thing. Anyway, stay tuned for the adventures. This background will be no more. You'll see the new house, our new space. It's not a new house. You'll see our new space. Thanks for being on this adventure with me. All right, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.